I've got some study tips for you. There's homework, and you should always do the homework, but just doing the homework, that's not studying. That's just exercising, practicing. It's not really studying. I have this conversation with multiple students every single semester. This is for any class. It's a really well-proven study tool that really helps retention because you're exercising, getting the information from your short-term memory and explaining it out loud. You're really understanding the material. It's helpful and you should do it, but that's not the only thing you should do. Now, most students, when they say they study for an exam or they just study in general, is they take out their notes that they took during lecture and they sit there and they read through their notes. Except they're not talking out loud. They're thinking in their head. Well, if you're like me, you've got hundreds of voices going on in your head at the same time. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. If you're just reading something along, especially when it's science notes in chemistry, there's several conversations going on. It's very hard to keep your mind focused on learning something new and complicated when you're just reading it to yourself, going over your notes. And then you've got the easy stuff, and then you get to a hard point, and your brain just kind of, it just jumps right over it and gets to the next easy thing. All sorts of stuff happens when you're just reading it to yourself in your brain. Better would be for you to talk out loud. When you talk out loud, when you start writing things as you're talking out loud, you force yourself into only one narrative, and you have to concentrate on what you're doing. Well, my recommendation to all my students, it's a lot of work, but it's very useful. Don't spend your study time just reading over your notes. Instead, print out a clean version of the slides without your notes on them and start filling it in from your memory. Don't look at your notes. Just go to the blank slide and start lecturing. And do it out loud. Don't just do it in your head. Speak. Pretend you're lecturing. Explain it to a family member or a friend, your roommate, whatever. Form a study group with some of the friends in this class that you should either make or maybe you already have them, and practice this study technique with each other. And you will learn as you teach it to other people, and they will learn as they're being taught, and then they'll get a chance to explain it to someone else in the same way. Speaking out loud, explaining it to someone else, that is the fundamentally best way to understand anything. If you can explain it to someone else who doesn't understand it, then you really do understand it. And what better place to do that is within a study group. But the point is, speak out loud. Listen to yourself and explain it. And if you're starting to say something that doesn't make sense, then you don't understand it. And I'm telling you folks, you can't get that when you're just reading it to yourself in your head. You convince yourself that you know what you're doing and that you're studying, but you're not. So get out a fresh sheet of paper, get out fresh notes, and recreate the lecture, speaking out loud. Maybe you need to do it a second time, but don't use your notes. Don't transcribe from the notes. Don't look at it in the textbook. Get it from here. Extract it from your short-term memory. And if you don't get something right, then you go to your notes and you check it out. And feel, oh, that's how you explain it. Oh, that's what that thing meant. And then you go and do it again. Now, that sounds like a lot of work, and yes, it is. But, you know, I told you at the beginning, you should expect to be spending 6 to 8 hours a week studying for this material to really understand, to really succeed in this class. Well, this is part of that time. And it's most effective, and there's been studies actually written on this. It's most effective if you do it within 24 to 48 hours of hearing the new material. So that means not waiting until the exam to do this, but after every lecture, either that night or maybe the next day, get your other set of notes and recreate the lecture. Just doing it the one time is so much better than just reading the notes to yourself. Now, yes, reading the notes to yourself is better than not studying at all, obviously, but these other methods are just so much better. I mean, look at this stuff, folks. This is hard stuff, okay? You're not going to get this by just listening to me talk about it in lecture, taking some notes, and then taking them out the night before the exam to study. It's too complicated, all right? You're going to really need to work at this to really succeed in this class and others of this level of complexity.